Welcome to Insights from the Torah portion, and today we're going to talk about Megillat Esther and about solving problems like a queen of Esther. So we're going to learn how to solve problems step by step, and we will get some examples from the Megillah. So in the Megillah, there's a lot of trouble and problem solving. We will give example from that. For instance, Esther is taken to the king palace without, she doesn't want to go there, but she just they take her to the, it says, Vatilakach Esther. Esther just, they take her. But she decides to deal with this problem like a queen. And every time that you confront a problem, I want you to imagine that you have a crown on your head, because all of us are sons of a Kadosh Baruch Hu that is a king. So all of us are king and queens, and we need to ask ourselves how a king will solve this problem, how we will deal with it. And we will learn also like techniques how to deal with it. And first we will learn to identify the problem. That's half of solving the problem. And then we will learn how to choose the right answer and the right way to solve it. And everything will have examples from the Megillah. So CBT it's basically connecting between cognitive and behavioral therapy. So it's sometimes just changing your cognition in the way you're thinking already can solve the problem. And sometimes changing the actions, the way you react to stuff, will also change the problem. For instance, with kids, sometimes if you just won't give attention to the bad behavior, so they will just stop behaving that way. It's only with young kings. You don't need to stop giving attention to the kid, just not giving attention to his bad behavior. So you still can talk to him and listen to him and be with him, just ignore the bad behavior, and then a lot of the time will stop. So sometimes changing in the behavior, and sometimes just changing in the thoughts. Like if we understand that something is not connected to me, like if Aman Rasha will understand that Mordechai doesn't bow down to him, it's not because he wants to annoy him or make him angry, just because he's not allowed from his halacha to bow down to other people. So if he will recognize that, it will make him less mad, because all the time you think, oh, it does it to annoy me, so it feels in one way. But when he will understand it's not connected to him, and it change the way he thinks, that already will make a difference in the way he feels. So sometimes if we understand that the problem is not connected to me, so it also will change our feelings and it will solve half of the problem. So we need to remember that not all the stuff are in our control. This method that I'm going to teach you today of solving problems, it's based on a book that wrote Dr. Mayers on solving problems. And basically, the first thing is to identify that you have a problem. Sometimes if you have a negative emotion, that will be a sign that there's a problem here. You feel sad, you feel angry, you feel uncomfortable. It's a way to sign that you need to stop and think something is not okay. And now I need to identify what is the problem. Problem is basically that there's difference between what I want and what actually happens. You can see in the Megillah that Esther wants to stay with Mordechai, but against her will, she's taken to the king palace. So there's a problem, right? She's not happy with it. So first you need to breathe deeply, because sometimes when you take another look at the situation, you see it's not so bad as you thought in the first place. And after we understood it's not the end of the world, we need to remember that we all the daughters of Hashem. Hashem is dealing with this world. Hashem have everything in his control. We need to do the best we can, but we can breathe because Hashem is with us. Okay, so after that, we remember that we sons of Hashem and we're king and queens. So we imagine, close our eyes and imagine we have a crown on our head. So how a king or queen will deal with the situation, what he will do. And then we also need to remember that every problem is opportunity to learn something, because dealing with stuff that's hard for us makes us find some powers that we didn't know that exists, and we learn stuff about ourselves and about our abilities. So, okay, now there's the situation, and I can choose what I want to do. Do I want to actually deal with it, or I maybe want just to live next to it and it's okay, I can deal with it like the way it is, or I actually want to take action and change stuff. Like for instance, we see with Esther Amalka, the King Esther, she's taken to the king palace. She doesn't know what to do with it. She just lives with it, okay? She lives there in the palace. It won't help her to file it. Okay, so we understood that there is a problem, but now we need to identify what exactly bothers us. In order to do it, we will ask ourselves questions. We'll ask, what happens when the problems happens? Like, how I behave in that times? What is the problem? Like, how I behave, what's going on, what's happening? We also want to identify where it's happening, in which places. Like, for instance, some kids, they have problem at school, but if they will be at home, they won't have the same problem. Or I have problem at work with my boss or with my coworkers, but meeting people at school, it's okay. So we want to identify exactly where the problem is. And then when it actually happens, which times, or only at night, like kids have some fears for monsters, they will usually see the monster at night, but not during the day. So we want, or maybe they will see it only in specific rooms, but not all over the house. So we want to identify where it happens, when it happens, how many times in the day it happens. Like we say, oh, we have a huge problem, it's all the time, and then we see it actually happens like 3 times a day. It's a lot, but we want it to be specific, to know exactly when it happens. We want to understand who is next to me when it happens. Does it happen only with my boss? Does it happen only with friends in school, but not with friends in the afternoon next to the house? Which people, which kind of people? Maybe there's always like somebody next to me when it happens, but when it's not there, it doesn't happen. And then we want to ask ourselves why it happens, like what triggers it, how we can identify that it starts. Because sometimes if we can identify what makes the problem start, we can take a step before and stop it. Like if I know, oh, every time the kids spill something on the floor, I get mad. So the minute I give him to eat, I say, okay, take a deep breath. It's okay if he's going to spill something. Or, okay, I won't clean the floor before he eats. I will clean it only after. Or I will give him to eat something that doesn't make so much mess. Or I will give him to drink from a closed cup and not from an open cup. Stuff like that. When I can identify what caused the problem, so it helps me to find a solution. Okay, so after we ask ourselves all those WH questions, it helps us to identify what the problem is exactly, when, how, with which people, and which times. And then we need to realize that there are 2 kinds of problems. One problem is connected to me, and I can influence it. Like if I get in late every morning to the bus, so it's connected to me. I need to wake up earlier. I need maybe to go to sleep earlier. I need to get ready faster. Maybe I can make the sandwich the day before, so it will be easier for me to get on time to the bus. But something that connected to me, I have influence about it. Like, for instance, in the Megillah, Mordechai, he can decide if he wants to bow down to a man or not. Vashti, she's a queen. She can decide she wants to come to Hashverosh or not, right? She has a problem. Hashverosh calls her, but she doesn't want to come. She's a queen, so she can decide what to do. So that's one thing, stuff that I have influence on. And also it can be stuff that I'm afraid to do, and I'm not doing it because I'm afraid. Like Esther is afraid to go to the king, but then she does take steps to do it. She understands the importance of it. She asks everybody to pray for her. She takes stuff and deal with stuff that she's afraid from, but that's something she has control on, okay? The other kind of problem is problem that we don't have control on, problem that influenced by other people, like Esther is taken to the king palace. She doesn't want to go, but the situation make her be there. So sometimes like people are not nice to us. So sometimes connected to our behavior. So it triggers them, makes them behave not nicely, but sometimes not connected to us, or there's a war, there's a situation. It's not something I can influence. So also in the places that are not my influence, what to do, like stuff that just happens to me, I still can decide how to behave in that situation. Like Mordechai, he doesn't want to bow down to a man. There it's more like fine, he decides not to do it. But Esther, she's in the palace, okay, she can control it, she can run away, they will just catch her and take her back, but she can decide what to do with it. Like she can decide, okay, now even though I'm afraid, I'm going to the king. And also a man, he can decide, okay, Mordechai is not bowing down to me, so now what I want to do, what I can do with the situation. Okay, so after we identify the problem and we ask all those questions, exactly where, when, how, stuff like that. Now we get to the solution problem. We want to have a target of something specific and realistic, and something that it's dependent by me. I don't want to say, oh, every time other people should be nicer, or the bus shall come later. No, it's not something that depends on me. I can't change it. It needs to be something that I can change. Like I will go to sleep earlier, so I will be able to get up earlier, or I will organize all the food in the night before, so I can get ready faster and get to the bus. So something that is connected to me, something realistic and specific, something that I can check if I did it or not. Like, did I make the sandwich the night before? I made the food the night before, or I left it for the morning. And also it's important to know why it's important for me to get this goal. Like, why it's important for me to get on time to the bus. What will happen if I won't get on time to the bus, if I won't have my goal? What are the obstacles in the way? What can give me problems? Also understand that there's problems, it's part of the solution, because we need to understand that, like, not everything is connected by us. Maybe I did everything, I got out of the house on time, but then something happened in the way, the bus came earlier. Like, not always stuff are connected to me, but I need to do the best I can. And also a lot of time, stuff won't be successful in the first time. Like people going on dates, they do everything, get prepared, be nice, have conversation, look at the other person in his eyes, but still it doesn't happen. So it might be not connected to me. Maybe just we didn't have good connection between us. So it's okay if stuff doesn't work in the first time or in the second time or whatever, but we need to take it into account, not let us let it break us, like get broken because we didn't add success in the first time. So we need to think on the most solving solution that we can. The more, the better. And because the more we think about stuff, the more we can actually find a good solution. Okay, so after we found out the solution and they were specific and something that we have control about and are realistic, we want to ask ourselves also some few questions to choose which is the right answer for us and the right solution for us. We will ask ourselves, are we really interested in this solution? What's the benefits I'm going to have from the solution, like from getting on time to the bus? How much energy and time and money and uncomfortable I'm willing to invest in order to get this solution? Because maybe the solution is important for me, but I just don't have the time to do it. Like I want to be more healthy, but I don't have the time to actually cut salad and make home food. So maybe it's important to me, but it's not something that I realistically can do. Or I don't have the money for it or the time for it. And also I need to ask myself, what is the ability that I will actually do it? Because maybe there's something important, but I know I won't do it in it. So it needs to be something that I actually will do. And then to ask myself, how much this solution is connected to me and not influenced by others, because it needs something that I have the influence on. So after we ask ourselves all those questions, we will choose the most relevant solutions. And after we actually did the solution, we wanted to check that it actually worked. So we asked ourselves, did I solve the problem? Did I get my goal? And if the answer is yes, I would check what actually helped me to get my goal, so I can use this solution for other stuff in the future. Okay, so now I want to give example from the Megillah for solving problems. So Esther Malka, she realized there's a serious problem. Her entire nation is going to be killed. So she asked herself the question, who is going to kill my nation? And she says, okay, it's Haman and Achashverosh. And what exactly will happen? There will be a war and they will be killed, but they don't have they're not allowed to fight and defend themselves. Where it's going to happen? In the kingdom of Achashverosh. When, in which dates it's going to happen? After she has all these questions in her mind, now she can have specific goals. She knows who is who made this gzera, so she knows who to talk to. She knows I need to talk to Achashverosh and Haman because it's both of them that made it. And she knows exactly when it's going to happen, so she knows what are time limits and by when she needs it to be solved. She knows where it's going to happen, so she can ask first people to run to those places and announce the new situation. And she knows what's going to happen, going to be a war. So now she thinks about all the different solutions that can happen. So first of all, she asks for Mordechai to daven for her. Mordechai and all the Jews are fasting and davening. Then she decides to go to the king, even though she's afraid, and she organized all this big feast for him and Haman, and how exactly she will ask. And then she asks him to stop this idea of killing everybody. But he says, no, I'm sorry. After I said something, you can cancel it. So she thinks of another solution. She said, okay, if you cannot stop this thing, so at least the Jews will be able to defend themselves. Okay, so she comes with different solutions. So if you want to summarize what we learned today, first of all, if there's a problem, we need to breathe deeply. Say, okay, it's not the end of the world. Everything is influenced by God. With the Son of God, with king and queens, how a king will deal with the situation, what he will do. Every situation, I can learn something from it. And I have now the opportunity to choose what to do. Do I want to deal with it, or I can just live with it? And I need to stop and think what is right for me to now, because maybe now fighting won't help. Like for Esther, she in the king house, she can't fight it. Okay, so she just needs to live with it. Okay, so after we understood there is a problem, now we want to identify the problem and ask all the WH questions. What is the problem? What I wanted to happen, what actually happens? When it happens, where, how, with which people, why it happens, how many times a day, okay, like we explained before. And we will remember that also problems that are not in my control, I still can control the way I behave and react. And after I choose my goal, I want to, the goals that what I want to change after this situation, I need to understand why it's important for me to make this change. How much, and now in the solution, I will also have questions, right? After I thought about all the solutions possible and stuff that actually I can do and specific and are connected to me and not others, I think about all the obstacles that can be in the way, take them into account. What will happen if I won't be successful in my goal? And what will help me to meet my goals? Like maybe the stuff that can help me. And then also I will ask myself more WH questions, like, do I really interested in this goal? What's the benefit? How much energy and time and money it will take for me? Am I willing to invest this time and money? What is the ability that I will actually do it? And how much it's dependent on me and not other people. Okay, so after I ask all those questions, I figure out the solution that the best for me, and I did it. And then I want to ask myself, did I actually was able to meet my goals? And if the answer is yes, I want to know what exactly helped me so I can use this solution in other problems. So I want everybody to have a Purim Sameach, and remember that you kids of God, Hashem is taking care of you, and you have a crown on your head. You can decide how to deal with stuff, and you welcome to register to my account, to subscribe to the channel, and please share this video with your friends that they will enjoy it too. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the bottom below. See you in the next video. Bye.